Hello, I'm June Edwards, and this is Senior Topics for the last week of August. So, welcome to Senior Topics, and let's get right to it, okay? We're looking at the calendar for what's happening this week, starting with the 22nd. It's Be an Angel Day. And of course, we all act like angels all the time, right? And also on the 23rd, the first photograph of Earth was taken from the moon on that date by the lunar orbiter in 1966, over 50 years ago. You believe it? We've had pictures taken from the moon for over a half a century already. Boy, it's time to fly. Also, it is National Sponge Day, and it is a marker for the first National Women's Rights Convention, which was held all the way back in 1850. August 24th is National Peach Pie Day, International Strange Music Day, and the waffle iron was patented on that day in 1869 by Cornelius Wartout from New York State. In 79 AD, almost 2,000 years ago, Mount Vesuvius erupted, and archaeologists are still uncovering devastation from that terrible event. Also on August 24th, in 1932, Amelia Earhart flew across the United States, the first woman to do that with a solo flight. August 25th, now here's a really fun one. It is Kiss and Makeup Day. That sounds like fun. It is also National Banana Split Day. So if you've had an argument with a spouse or a friend, maybe you can make it up by getting a banana split together. The 25th is also the day that the United States National Park Service was established way back in 1916. August 26th is Women's Equality Day, and it's the anniversary of women getting the right to vote and the signing of the 19th Amendment in the year 1920. On the 27th, we remember the birthday of Mother Teresa, who was born in 1910 and made a saint within the last 10 years. August 28th is Dream Day. It is the anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr. giving his I Have a Dream speech in 1963. And when I was a full-time teacher, I used to require my students to memorize part of that speech, especially the part where he says, I have a dream that one day my children will judge a person not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Words that are so true even today. August 29th, the first Boy Scout camp opened in 1934. Michael Jackson, the pop singer, was born on that date in Gary, Indiana in 1958. And the cartoon Speedy Gonzales debuted in 1953. Okay, looking at August 30th, National Toasted Marshmallow Day, and Thurgood Marshall, a very famous Supreme Court justice, joined the court in 1967. And the last day of August already in the year 2021, for the 31st National Trail Mix Day, and the birthday of the famous educator Marie Montessori in 1870. And there you have it for the month of August. Now let's take a deeper look at some of those holidays, shall we? Okay, the first thing I want to do is share with you some stories of some heroes, modern day heroes. I know we're watching on television and on the internet with horror at the chaotic evacuation of Americans and some military staff and some Afghani people from Afghanistan. And our soldiers and militia and airmen and Marines are the real heroes trying to save as many lives as they can in a terrible situation. But the heroes that I want to really emphasize, in addition to those, today are what I call heroes of the COVID-19 virus. You know, desperate times bring out the best in people. Authors Jeremy Greenfield, Caroline Fanning, and Kristen Warfield have compiled a list of 2020 heroes. Here's two examples of ordinary people trying to hold us together during the lockdown and uncertainties of the virus. Terrence Lester and Lecrae Moore started Love Sinks In to provide portable sinks for washing up at various parks around the country for the homeless. After successfully starting this in Atlanta, Georgia, they expanded to Oakland, California, Columbus, Ohio, and then on to Austin, Texas. Another group, Teddy Bears to the Rescue, seeks to encourage and brighten the days of school children who have lost their schools, friendships, and recess while being forced to quarantine during the pandemic. No one knows who started Teddy Bears to the Rescue, but it has spread. The idea has just caught on. It's gone viral, as they say. Sharing fuzzy teddy bears. These teddy bears are popping up in the most unusual places to surprise and delight our children and their parents at car washes, supermarkets, on the front porches of many school children. And who couldn't use a hug from a fuzzy teddy bear now and then? I have just a couple more to share with you from our heroes of the virus this week. People who have stepped up during the COVID-19 pandemic to help their fellow Americans. Clay Young from Jonesboro, Arkansas, owns more than 30 restored historical buildings. He has started a movement that's gone viral across the country, granting his restaurant tenants who were forced to shut down during various lockdowns some rent-free months at great personal cost to himself. Nick Monroe, who lives in San Francisco, wanted a way to reach out to his neighbors, even though he could not go outside himself. With the simple act of using colorful sticky notes, he arranged the shape of a heart in a prominent place on his front window. 30 minutes later, the neighbors across the street responded with their own sticky note heart. Then other neighbors joined in. And so new friendships have been forming with people joining in from all across the city. What a great idea. And we should keep that going. Next, I want to talk to you about a different subject, and this is about recognizing the National Day of Women's Equality, August 23rd, and then August 26th, when the 19th Amendment was signed and we got the right to vote. You know, the threat of harm is a human constant, and yet American women are among the safest, freest, healthiest, most opportunity rich women on earth. In many ways, we are not doing just as well as men, we are surpassing them. And so women need to be appreciative of that because the picture is so different in third world countries. In countries like Bangladesh, Saudi Arabia, Cambodia, and Afghanistan, women have to contend with practices such as honor killings, genital mutilation, acid burnings, child marriage, and gender separation. However, there is good news. The number of educated women in some of these countries has reached a critical mass, and they are making their presence felt. Wahija Al Huwaider has been called the Rosa Parks of Saudi Arabia. In 2008, she created an international sensation by posting a video of herself driving a car. Until just a few short months ago, women were not allowed to drive in Saudi Arabia. But because of women like her, the laws are beginning to change. Another woman, Dr. Hawa Abdi, a 71-year-old doctor and lawyer from Somalia, is said to be equal parts Mother Teresa and Rambo. Excuse me. She founded a hospital and refugee camp in rural Somalia that offers a safe space to nearly 100,000 of the most imperiled men, women, and children in the world. Under her leadership, the settlement is evolving into a model civil society. The challenges facing women in developing world are daunting, but for the first time in history, an army of brave and resolute women are on the march. And what a great way to honor these brave women all across the world as we see what's going on today. Also, there's a big challenge facing a lot of working women who had to stay home and help their children with homeschooling. And now the kids are being allowed back into school and the women are having to go back to work. And it's so hard, I know from personal experience, to try and balance working and motherhood and being a wife and, doing a good job at work. So I honor and salute all of the women who've been there, done that, or are in the trenches as I speak. I did want to come up and tell you a story about Susan B. Anthony. She was one of the suffragettes or people who fought so hard to get women the right to be able to vote in our country. Now, the former President Trump wanted to pardon Susan B. Anthony on the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment. But the people running the Susan B. Anthony Museum said, no, we really don't want to take a pardon because a pardon says that we've done something wrong. Susan did not think a woman voting was wrong. A controversial part of Susan B. Anthony's story is that she did oppose the 15th Amendment, which banned discrimination by race, but did not give equality to women. On November 5, 1872, about 50 years before women got the right to vote, Susan B. Anthony and 14 other women went to their polling place in Rochester, New York to cast ballots. They pointed out that they were citizens who pay taxes. Election inspectors stood back to let the women vote, figuring that they could later disqualify those ballots. A U.S. Marshal came to the home of Susan B. Anthony 2 weeks later to arrest her. The marshal handcuffed her as they would arrest a man. Actually, Susan B. Anthony asked him to handcuff her and he declined. Women are taxed without representation. Susan B. Anthony claimed at her trial. We are governed without our consent, tried, convicted, and punished without a jury of our peers. Is this tyranny any less humiliating and degrading to women under our democratic Republican government today than it was to men under their aristocratic monarchy government 100 years before? She was found guilty but refused to pay the $100 fine. The US government was too daunted to try and collect it. The election inspectors who let her vote were jailed. Susan B. Anthony campaigned for them to be released. So when the governor wanted to give her a pardon, she said, no, I don't feel I ever did anything wrong. Well, she didn't say it, she's long gone. But the people at the museum said she carried that felony as a badge of honor, that she was willing to sacrifice for the good of the other women. Now, there's one more woman that I do want to talk about today, and that is Mother Teresa, who was made a saint by the Catholic Church about 10 years ago. Mother Teresa was born in 1910 in Albania, and little is known about her early life, but at a young age, she felt a calling to become a nun. When she was 8 years old, her father died, leaving her mother and her siblings destitute. She was the youngest of the children born to them. She had received her first communion at the age of 5.5. So the mother dreamed raised her children firmly and lovingly, such a strong religious Catholic, and it just influenced her daughter's life. The daughter was born Ta Agnes as her given age of 18 by a desire to become a missionary. And we're back. I tell you, it's really something. We have this stuff happening. And because of the hot weather, we do get knocked off the air, but you have to be patient and realize that just take a sip of coffee or tea or whatever you're drinking. And remember, we just have to wait it out. I was talking about Mother Teresa. At the age of 18, she felt a calling to become a nun and serve the poor. So she was given permission to join a group of nuns in Ireland. After a few months of training, she was given permission to travel to India, which she felt was where God had called her. She took her formal religious vows in 1931 and chose to be named Saint Teresa, after the patron saint of missionaries. When she got to India, she worked as a teacher for her first 17 years. But she would take long walks when she was not teaching, and the widespread poverty of the district of Calcutta made a deep impression on her. Such a deep impression that she decided she wanted to become the leader of a new order called the Missionaries of Charity. She was already noted for her charity, which means love, her unselfishness and courage, her capacity for hard work, and a natural talent for organization. During a train ride from Calcutta to Darjeeling for her annual retreat in September of 1946, Mother Teresa received what she later called her inspiration, or her call within a call. On that day, in a way she would never explain, Jesus took hold of her heart, and his thirst for her to reach out to suffering souls became the driving force of her life. Her vision was to establish a religious community, the Missionaries of Charity, dedicated to the service of the poorest of the poor. Nearly 2 years of testing and discernment passed before Mother Teresa received permission to actually begin her dream. On August 17, 1948, she dressed for the first time in the white, blue bordered sari of the people of India. Blue stood the color of religion and affection. Sari was the dress of the people that she so dearly loved. She passed through the gates of her beloved Loreto convent out on the street to enter the world of the poor. She took 6 months of medical training in a different part of India and then returned and found temporary lodging with the Little Sisters of the Poor. And then December 21st, she walked out onto the streets of the slums. She visited families. She washed the sores of some of the children. She cared for an old man lying sick on the road, and she nursed a woman dying of hunger and TB. She started each day in communion and then went out with the rosary in her hand and looked for the unwanted, the unloved, the uncared for. After some months, she was joined one by some of her former students. The new congregation of the Missionaries of Charity was officially established in October of 1950. And then by the early 1960s, there were enough sisters in the organization. She began to send them to other parts of India and later to Venezuela and Rome and Tanzania, and eventually to every continent, starting in 1980 and continuing through the 1990s. Mother Teresa opened houses in almost all of the communist countries, including the former Soviet Union, Albania, and Cuba. And so the world loved what she was doing. She received the Nobel Peace Prize. She received the Dr. Albert Schweitzer Prize and many other recognitions. She was made an honorary citizen of our country by one of the presidents. Here's what she said. It is not how much we do, but how much we put in the doing. It is not how much we give, but how much love we put in the giving. And because of her work, she died a happy woman and having helped hundreds and thousands of these people and inspired so many others to do the same thing. She became a saint I want to say she became a saint after her death. She died in 1997 of a heart attack that she had a lung cancer and other illnesses at the time. But she became an honorary citizen of the United States in 1996. She got the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979, the Congressional Gold Medal in 1994, and became a saint in 2010. My mother got to actually meet her. If you wanted to meet with her in person, she could not be stopped from her work. So you had to get up early and you had to be out in front of the doors of her convent at 5 in the morning, lined up. And she would come down the line, this little woman, 4'5" tall. She would shake your hand and then she would pass on. And she was always in a hurry to get to her beloved people, to get out on the streets and get to the work to which she was called. What a woman, and what a shining example to all of us. And that's all of my news for this week and everything that I have to share. I hope you're having a wonderful week. Be kind to each other and please stay safe during these uncertain days. Bye, everybody. See you next week.